In 1952, a Swiss psychiatrist known as Carl Jung documented a peculiar event involving a patient who dreamt of a golden beetle. Ironically, as she recounted her dream, a real beetle tapped against the window of his study. Jung captured it in his hand, which inspired him to coin a term that would define his career: synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence, a moment that feels orchestrated by an unseen force. You have experienced it, a stranger uttering the precise words you needed to hear, a number relentlessly appearing in your life, the song that plays at the exact moment a lost loved one crosses your mind. Many call it fate. Others interpret it as divine intervention. A few consider it evidence that the universe is attuned to us. But there is a more unsettling possibility, one that is rarely confronted. What if these signs are genuine, but their source is not what you expect? The moment you assign meaning to a coincidence, you unknowingly become part of a specific group. You become predictable, and predictable people are easily influenced. Here lies the question: why does the human mind detect meaning in the absence of any? Our brains aren't designed for clarity. They're wired to recognize patterns swiftly enough to ensure survival. A shape in the grass might be a predator. A shadowy face might be a threat. Thus, our brains adhere to one fundamental rule: connect the dots when in doubt. Scientists have named this tendency apophenia, our inclination to perceive connections among random entities. It is not a defect unique to certain people, but a standard feature, present in every human mind, including yours. Typically, this comes at no cost. You see a rabbit in the clouds, chuckle and move on. However, when fear arises, when grief strikes, when one is adrift and desperate for a sign, the brain's pattern-seeking function intensifies. Imagine someone comprehending this, someone who knows that a fearful mind will accept nearly any meaning presented. This person doesn't need to deceive you. Your own mind will do the interpreting. That is the true narrative here. Not the coincidence, but understanding how it can be manufactured. To grasp how a coincidence could become a tool of influence, we must journey back to a time when signs evoked fear instead of comfort. For much of human history, a coincidence did not bring solace. It was a decree. A comet appeared, signaling the downfall of a king. The birth of a two-headed calf foretold war for a village. Birds flying contrary to expectations halted armies. In ancient Rome, priests known as augurs interpreted the flight of birds before any significant decision. No battle, election, or law transpired without consulting the sky. Here is a detail often overlooked. These people were not naive. Some privately acknowledged it as spectacle. The Roman statesman Cicero noted their skepticism, revealing that these practices were a blend of belief and power play. They understood, yet they continued. Because whoever dictates the meaning of signs commands those who believe in them. This was the first powerful lesson. There is no need to control a frightened crowd. Simply interpret the sky. Tell them what the sign signifies, and they will surrender their will. The tools have evolved. The comet became an algorithm. The augur became something quieter, more intimate. But before anyone could deliberately send you signs, something had to fracture first. A single crack in the ordinary world, marking the beginning of an era. It never starts with the sign. It begins with the wound. Think back to the last time life unraveled before you. A diagnosis, a closing door, a name you cherished, now silent. the instant when the ordinary world ceased to make sense. And you stood amidst the chaos, asking one desperate question. Why? That question forms the crack. Through it, meaning pours in. Psychologists have quantified this. Studies reveal that those who feel powerless perceive patterns where none exist. Faces appear in static. Conspiracies emerge from randomness. Dots connect where they shouldn't. The less control you have over life, the more your brain seeks hidden order within it. This isn't weakness. It is survival. A mind unable to command the world will settle for understanding it. And if understanding is elusive, it will accept the illusion of understanding instead. Anything is preferable to pure chance. So when grief envelops you and a butterfly lands on your hand, your brain doesn't compute probability. It whispers, "That is her." When lost and a stranger's words resonate deeply, you don't think coincidence. You sense a message. In that moment, you are wide open. Not because you are foolish, but because you are human, in pain, yearning for meaning amidst chaos. Remember this: every predator studies the wound. The con artist reads grief before speaking. The cult recruiter waits outside the divorce court and the funeral home. The manipulator targets the vulnerable. He arrives precisely when you're pleading for a sign. And then, gently, he offers you one. There is a term for those who navigate this crack, speaking as though the universe sent them. Once you recognize their methods, they become visible everywhere. He does not appear as a threat. That's the first lesson. He radiates relief. The oldest version of him is the cold reader. He never tells you anything. He asks, he observes. A slight nod, a held breath, a tear you weren't aware of holding back. He offers a vague line. "I sense you've lost someone dear." Your mind rushes to fill the gaps, supplying details, then thanking him for knowing them. This is the trick beneath every manufactured sign. He provides the frame. You create the picture. Later, you insist he saw into your soul. The technique repeats across settings. The fortune teller reads your face. The faith healer reads the room. The recruiter mirrors your words back until you feel truly understood. Each performs the ancient move of the Roman augur. They don't generate meaning. They allow you to create it, then claim credit. Observe when they arrive. Never when you're content, always when you're seeking. They find you at the crack's edge and whisper the words your brain is eager to hear. For millennia, this required human presence. Someone to see your face, hear your voice, feel your fear's rhythm. But that limitation no longer exists, because something has learned to read you without ever meeting you. It watches you in solitude, through a screen, and it never blinks. The augur needed to see your face. The machine does not. It observes something more honest than expressions. Your thumb. How long you linger on an image.